everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Hey, you guys. How's everyone doing? Holy shit, that looks brighter than it probably needs to be. I don't want my big light on because it's like bright and annoying. Make this bright, like, is that the lowest it'll go? I guess that's the lowest it's gonna go, but that's just gonna have to work. How's everybody doing tonight? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all watched this interview live when Lana had Peggy over on her channel. Hey, JLL, it's good to see you. How are you doing? Hey there, Becca. Hey there, Duncan. How are you? 2 more interviews tonight. I saw that. Tomorrow during the day at some point, we're going to go live to go over the Kelvin guy, the older looking guy with like the sandy blondish reddish hair, the one that Connor posted, I think it was yesterday, maybe a day before yesterday, the long one. I will be over on Dago's channel tomorrow night. I don't know the time just yet. I will reshare it. I'll share it when I have like the link and everything. And then Sunday, we're going to go live twice to go over some more of the interviews. But he dropped, I think, 2 more tonight. Yeah, you're right. 2 more tonight. So that's 4. And he said there was a total of 8. That's what that whole thing was a while back when we were trying to figure out what we could do to send money over there to get those FOIAs done because there was 8 of them. So we're halfway there. We're halfway there. It's going to be interesting to hear all of those. Hey there, Carla. Hey, Marie. How you doing? Hey there, Mr. Naysayer. Yeah, it's all his Sigma Chi people. It's all of the Sigma Chi people. But hopefully we're able to piece together a little bit more information when it comes to the Sigma Chi party. Because there's like a lot missing there when it comes to direct times for things. So, I mean, I don't think that like just listening to the interviews is going to get us more like direct time information, but it'll still be interesting to like listen to what everybody has to say about it. And happy Good Friday to those who are celebrating. Hope y'all have a good day. Haven't seen Boise Bella in a while. I haven't either. I haven't seen her in the comments either. Hey there, Jay Bird. Hey there, Trish. How you doing? B-Fly, how are you? Yeah, it just took me a second. I needed to get my coffee. Got the big cup today. Had to get my coffee. Hey there, Lori. Hey, Michael. How you doing? How you doing? Hey, how you doing? Hey there, Caramel. How you doing? Probably. I have like so many emails that I still need to respond to, and they filter to all kinds of different places. And what I'm noticing too, and I don't know why Google or Gmail, I guess, is doing this, even people that I actually like go back and forth with, they're starting to throw their emails in my spam folder for some reason. And I have like threads with these people going back and forth, and I know that they're human, so I don't know why they're doing that. So yeah, I'll have to go in and check everything. Hey there, Lucid, how are you? Hey, Metal Chick. Hey there, Granny Noodles. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody has a good weekend. I know it's probably going to be busy, full of family stuff, because it's going to be Easter weekend. Hey, Miss Cherie. Hey there, Bianca. Hey there, Saudade. Yeah, we're going to go through all of them as they come, for sure. Plus, we're still going to go over that one. Hey, girl, how you doing? The one that I was told about from the girl that lived at 1119. Like I said, it's like the live itself where she comes up is like almost 7 hours long. But where she's talking is like 3 hours long. So I'm going in and checking it because, damn, that's like a lot. That's a super, super lot of time. Super, super lot of time. Hey there, Joni. Thank you. Just a free song from the YouTubes. That's all that is. Hey there, Kirsty. How you doing? Hey there, Alf. Meme Tube. How are you? Hey there, Lori. Hey, Damn Goody. She put something, Amber put something out on TikTok earlier today. Is part 8 the thing about not Jack? Is part 8 where she talks about what she found in way of lab item number 1 and the documents showing something about it being related to Jack Showalter, but lab item number 1 is really the knife sheath, according to the documents, because she put something on TikTok about that earlier. I was like, holy shit. So that's something else that I'm going to be going in and taking a look at. Like I don't ever doubt her. I mean, I have no reason to doubt her, but I always like to go in and check it myself. And that's insane to think that they have mixed up the labeling of something that's so important. And then you also take into consideration the fact that the Q-tip for Bryan Kohberger's DNA from lab item number 1 that actually like found the DNA apparently was a resubmission with no paper trail. So that's lovely. There's a lot in that. I mean, there's still so many forensic reports and things that we haven't been able to go over here. Because there's either like life happening, other things in the case have happened. Like there's so many other documentations, actual forensic documentation, analysis reports, all these things that we still haven't personally myself been able to go over and put on the channel. So she's definitely seeing things that I haven't had the chance to sit down and really look at. So that's crazy. That's super crazy. Oh, well, thank you, Becca. It's so good to see you, JLO. Sasulala, how are you and how you doing? Hey there, Marie. Lars, how you doing? Yeah, hey, how you doing? How you doing, Jenna? Yeah, I listened to none of it because I was just not in the mood that day to do a damn thing besides sit on my couch and just kind of sleep. If you know, then you know. If you don't, then it's not for this video. So I was a little bit late. I did actually get some information from Danny. He sent me her TikTok, like the girl Peggy was on TikTok answering some questions. So I did get like a little bit of a preview, I guess, of what she was doing, what she has to say, what she was talking about, sort of. But the interview that she did with Truth and Transparency really brought out a lot of information. Something that the guilters literally can shut the F up about now is the plates. And I swear, anybody who tries to say shit about these plates anymore, I'm just done with you. I'm not dealing with you. You don't have the capacity to even have a conversation with me. You dumb. We're not talking about this anymore. He went in to go change those damn plates at some point way before he ended up actually switching them out, and he was told by them to wait. So the timing of it being after the crimes is literally because a DMV worker told him not to do it whenever he originally wanted to. Meaning that for all the guilters that think that he's really the one who did it, he would have had his brand new little Washington plates on his vehicle at the time. But instead, he went to go switch it, was told not to, and only went in when he had to because he was told to wait. He was given a period of time to wait because of tax purposes. It had nothing to do with him trying to hide anything. I always found that still so stupid, regardless, because all of that is definitely something that you can put a paper trail to. So switching plates was never going to hide anything. It was literally never going to hide anything. And the fact that they thought that he thought that it would, knowing his academic capabilities, is disgustingly stupid. And just something that these people tell themselves to make their mentality like feel better inside, is they try to take things that mean nothing and twist them into something. Well, now they can shut up about the plate because he wanted to do it beforehand and he was told to wait. So the timing has nothing to do with nothing. Nothing to do with nothing. So that was really interesting to hear because she doesn't have a date. She doesn't have a date. She doesn't remember the date. I wonder if they have a date that he went in there before. I wonder if they went back, like backtracked to him coming in. Because I mean, even if he didn't actually do anything at the DOL, because it's not the DMV, it's actually the DOL. I just didn't want to change it on the video title because she's known as the DMV girl, the DMV lady, even though it's technically the Department of Licensing and the actual driver's license situations are handled in a completely different building. That's how she's known. So I left it that way. But no one can talk shit about the plate change anymore. And if they do, it's because they are literally choosing to just not listen. They're not listening to the truth. They're not listening to the real timeline. And they're forgetting the fact that we were never really given anything factual to begin with. We are literally going backwards, just now getting information to put into play. And it was also interesting to hear that there's only 2 places in Pullman that he could have gotten his haircut from. And one of them is like no longer around. So I don't know if that's going to make it more difficult to try to find the girl that cut his hair or not. But she did an interview. Like, she's out there to the public. So I don't think it would be too difficult. But she sort of already like said her piece. Like he showed up and he was nice and normal and got a haircut and it wasn't a big deal. So I don't really think that there'd be anything else that she could possibly say, except for maybe if she was asked to talk to the grand jury. That would probably be like the only new thing that she could add to it is the grand jury. Oh, thank you for the gifted memberships, Bianca. Congratulations to those who got those. Thank you for the $4.99 Tea Time Sleuth. How are you doing? 11 months, Becca. How do we the people make this wrong right for BK? I mean, not just him, though. Not just him. For all of them. This is all so jacked up. This is all so crazy. And that's another thing. I really hope that people understand that at the end of the day, this is like, we're trying to find truth for everything. We're trying to find truth for everyone. Bryan showed up after. He became just as important, especially as the no information started coming out. But at the end of everything, this is for people whose lives were lost, that the majority of people paying attention to facts, law enforcement included, don't believe got true justice, don't believe got what they deserved when it comes to justice here. And I don't know. I don't know what else that we could possibly do besides what we're doing already, because we're just us. Like, we're just people that are out here able to get public records and, you know, whatever they deem public. But when it comes to others, I mean, how many other thousands of documents do you guys think are like not ever going to come public? The grand jury situation, apparently there's ways to make some of that come out, but it's very rare that it actually does. So I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know when anything can happen as long as these documents are still being unsealed. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do about any of it. And I just don't get how the families aren't paying attention. And like, I understand for the majority, okay, let's take the G's out of here and maybe even like the Chapins. Those people that are doing some weird shady shit, they're not the only family members here. There's cousins, there's aunts, there's grandparents, there's other parents, okay? I don't understand how collectively there's not any of them going through the documents and being like, okay, but where's the evidence here, guys? Like, we know he stood up and he pled guilty, but where's the proof that that's actually factual? I don't understand that. And it's not even, oh, well, the Goncalveses are coming out and still saying how the investigation was bullshit and they don't trust them and they messed it up, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but they're not even bothering reading the 20 documents that were handed to them about Kaylee. You think they're going to sit through and read all of the real stuff? Hell no. Too lazy. They don't really care. They want to know just enough to get them attention, and that's about it. If they really read through the facts, they'd know that this was wrong. They would know, Steve would know, and they probably already do know, but they're playing stupid games, that something's wrong here. And yeah, they really did take this and twist the shit out of this so quick. TMZ grabbed it after Christy put it on her channel. Christy's Chaos put it on her channel, and they just manipulated the shit out of the intentions here. Not paying attention. So I wonder if they're going to be like another article that comes out saying, oh, the plate change actually didn't mean shit because he tried to go change them beforehand and he was told by the DMV workers to wait. That's so freaking important here because of the narrative that they have spun. So I guess we'll see. Guess we'll see. Oh, well, thank you, Tea Time. Yeah, that was just a weird, I mean, I've never actually dealt with a true tragedy, traumatic event on April Fool's Day. It's usually always been bullshit. And I was so hesitant to even call those numbers back to see what was going on. I mean, I'm glad I did, but not at the same time, because what the shit. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start this. It is edited a little for the way that I have to be able to review it. The original is over on Lana's channel. I'm sure, like I saw already, lots of you guys already watched it. And there's nothing like super important that's been taken out. It's just your normal, like, casual conversation stuff that doesn't really have anything to do with what she's up here to talk about is the stuff that I got rid of. So it's not really that big of a deal. Hide this right here. Okay, let me get my headphones. All right. She says some interesting stuff. And also, I know that she says that they didn't contact them until after his arrest and didn't talk to her until after his arrest, but we do need to remember that they do have something about it in the probable cause about the plate change. So I'm going to assume that just means that they like pulled up his information like a dry pool of just like your basic facts. But I don't know why, as soon as they saw when they pulled his info that he changed his plates, why they didn't instantly go down there, get the information from them, get the receipts, see what the mileage was, like get the footage. So it's obvious that they knew, but they didn't know enough to give a shit. That's why I'm telling you, there was no investigation done here. They saw that he changed his plates and didn't do anything until they contacted the cops. That tells you how much information that they really wanted to put into this probable cause. That tells you how much they actually gave a damn. Like, that's crazy as shit. Okay. Are y'all ready? Let's start this back this way. Here we go.
Let's do this. Hi, Peggy. Hi. Thanks for having me.
You were under gag. Why is it so fast? Hold on a second. It's on 2x. That was crazy. One more time.
Let's do this. Hi,
Okay.
Peggy.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Because I have
You
to
were
edit
under
it
a
for
gag
you.
Still so
That's why it's
new,
cool.
and I was under a gag order. Yeah, I was not allowed to talk about it yet.
Do you still work there?
I do not still work there. Now I'm actually at the in Pullman.
See, I blocked that out because I felt like it was not smart to put the name of the place that she works currently out on the internet like that, just because I know how the internet peoples are. And it's over there on Lana's channel. She said it and she was fine with it and she whatever. But to me, for me, I didn't want it out there because I feel like the less amount of that out there, the less likely she gets harassed. Because we already know how people are.
I'm all about customer service, and it's much funner to do customer service in the
It was
restaurant
like
world than
2x.
it is in the Department of Licensing world. Very fun. I love working here.
Oh, so are you at work right now?
Yeah, my boss actually said I could come shoot the video here, so I didn't have to have the chaos of my dog and stuff.
Okay, so you're no longer working there. How long had you worked there from like November when this happened? How long had you been there?
About a year, I would say, maybe a little over a year.
That day, and that was a Friday, right?
I believe so. Yeah, it was the 18th.
This is how I found you. They released the witness list, and the names weren't redacted. And so I went hunting to try to figure out of all these names who certain people are. I would never have expected to see when they released the 20-minute video. I was like, who spends that much time in talking to this? And I was like, I got to talk to this girl. So
yeah, a lot of people spend that much time talking to me for some reason.
Well, when the murders happened, did you guys know about it? Did you know, like, were you following the case?
Yes, as much as anybody was in the early days of it, it was like this horrific thing that happened in our small little community. And you have to understand, Moscow and Pullman are basically like a joined little separate community. Yeah. We're only separated about like 7 or 8 miles, 2 small university towns, and everybody kind of knows everybody. So when this happened, this like horrific thing happens to these 4 kids. I mean, we were all just shocked. Like, stuff like that doesn't seem to happen in this area. So it made us all feel not safe. And like you hear me say in the video, like, I couldn't even believe I started my whole, like, this is a great, safe community spiel with him. Because that is something I'd said to many people before. But through the sentence, as I was finishing it, I realized, how could you be saying this when that just happened? And that's when I immediately amended it to, oh, well, and I got flabbergasted and just said, other than the Moscow thing, because I couldn't believe I was just talking about how
you
safe.
Actually said that in the...
Right, but it also just happened. Like, I understand what she's saying. Like, I can't believe I just said that, but it was also only like a few days after the fact. So it's probably not like the first thing that comes to your mind. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that she said what she said, because it shows that, like, the amount of time that he spent there talking to her, technically that's normal. People go in there, they have a conversation, it's nice and friendly, it's not a big deal. A lot of people wanted to say something crazy about, why is he in there for 20 minutes? What's he doing? Why is he talking to her so much? Can a guy have a conversation? Like, it's actually crazy, the kind of stuff that's like coming from certain camps about such an innocent ass freaking video.
It's like some of the time you can't hear all of it. And so you actually said that?
Yes, I did. I brought that up to him, and his response was, oh, I know, right?
Oh, okay. So good. So I'll go to that part of the video when that happens, because some of the video you can't, obviously people are talking, there's other people, so you can't hear everything.
And
oh
we
my
have
God.
microphones in those little plastic windows there. So it makes everything echo that much worse and makes the sound like not travel. Those like plastic barriers that got put up for COVID blocked everything. So he was much harder to hear because the cameras were on our side of that barrier.
Okay, so it wasn't like that until COVID.
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
No, those barriers came up for COVID, and I believe they're down now.
Were you guys ever notified from like the police or anybody as far as
hold on.
coming there?
No, I know that Lana ends up saying this to her about like, we've gone through the police reports, we've gone through the court documents, we never saw anything. Guys, I know that that's I know that that's accurate, but I also am like, but is it? Because like I've done it too. Like I agree with what she says. I've gone into the police reports. I went through the Moscow ones. I went through the Idaho police ones. I went back through the court documents to see if there was maybe something mentioned in like the make and model motions of limine that got filed, stuff like that. In my freaking head, guys. Anyone else? Like I'm wanting you guys' opinion on this. Did we not read something about her before this? Did we not know about the conversation with the DMV lady and the gloves and all of that like a while ago? Like, I feel like we read this somewhere. And like, I know that she ends up mentioning James Patterson, like he came snooping around at some point and she didn't speak to him. So I guess it could maybe have something to do with the James Patterson book. Maybe somebody did say something, somebody else that worked at the DMV or so, I don't know. But for as little information, literally no information that's actually physically out there in official reports, I feel like we read something. And maybe we've just read so many things, I just feel like we read something. But I feel like, I don't know, something is just like, I think we read something. I don't even know. Okay, let's go.
Calling you guys to say, hey, we're interested in any white elantras. Was that ever like a call that you guys got and to be on the lookout for?
Not to us. From my understanding, there may have been like the main, like in Olympia, like the main offices may have been contacted.
Okay.
But I don't know that for a fact. That was just one of the rumors that was going around. But
I can answer this question. She says something at some point about how she didn't really know for sure, but then as stuff started coming out, stuff started looking like it was piecing itself together. I can just assume that she was following like mainstream media. And I also know that like she was probably told not to really pay much attention. I think she even mentions that she was told not to really pay much attention. So maybe if somebody like sat down and like showed her like the factual stuff about the fog lights, about the phone stuff. I mean, it doesn't really matter either way. It doesn't matter either way what her opinion is. This was just like an experience that she had that she's telling us about. But she made that comment, so that's why a lot of people think that she believes that he's guilty, and she might. I mean, it doesn't matter either way, honestly. Again, this is the only thing that matters here is the interaction that they had at the licensing office. But that's why people say that, because she made that statement. That's the only reason.
My boss at the DOL was actually the one that contacted the Idaho State Police when she found out that we had helped license his car.
Your boss, was it after his arrest?
Everywhere. Do you have the number?
Yes, because we didn't know before that.
Right now.
So I looked. Between the dates of like when they supposedly knew his name, like December 19th and December before they arrested him, you guys weren't contacted?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so your
see how crazy that is? Listen to that one more time.
Boss, was it after his arrest?
Yes, because we didn't know before that.
Isn't that crazy?
So between the dates of like when they supposedly knew his name, like December 19th and December before they arrested him, you guys weren't contacted?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so your boss reaches out after the arrest. Did your boss like type in his name and just to see like how did you know that you guys had serviced him?
That was basically it. Like we were all like, gosh, he looks familiar, the name sounds familiar, and sure enough, when we put it in the system, it popped up as we had helped him. And that's when she was like, we have to contact the police. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just find that strange. Again, the PCA says something about the plate change, but that just tells me that they pulled some random ass information, because we know that it was written before the arrest was announced. So if she's claiming that they didn't come talk to them until after the arrest was announced, I will reiterate what I just said. They literally were doing nothing but looking for surface level information that they could put into that probable cause, and they didn't give a shit about doing any actual investigations. Someone should have been over at that Department of Licensing on the 20th. Somebody should have been over there the second they pulled Bryan's information and knew where he was going and they saw that info. Someone should have been over there the very next day. Why didn't they? Why didn't they bother to put real footwork into this? Because they didn't do anything. I've been saying that from the damn beginning. The freaking FBI handled this entire case. The FBI called the shots. The FBI told MPD what to do, who to say what to, where to go, what to write down. They told them everything. So of course they didn't go and actually do anything until they were told, hey, by the way, that guy you just arrested, yeah, he was in here. You might want to come take a look at the 20-minute video. That's crazy. How incompetent. How incompetent.
And
So
then
that's
after that, I was
wild.
involved.
How does it pop up like, well, because we're going to get into the whole thing there. It wasn't like he was just,
Very
he was
crazy.
transferring a title
Mhm.
from PA
Which is
to-
something people do when they move
Thank
to
you.
a new state. You have to transfer your vehicle, your ID, all that stuff to become a resident of a new state. So that part of it's not particularly unusual.
Well, was it unusual that he did his license at one point and then he waited to do the plates because he had his license first changed over
Mhm.
and then he waited to do the plates? Do you recall that?
Yes, not unusual because the state of Washington actually has a 90-day law with new vehicles. So if you purchase a vehicle and you move it to Washington state and you've owned it for less than 90 days, and you're coming from a state that maybe has no sales tax or lower sales tax in Washington state, well, they're going to charge you the difference.
Are we sure it's 256? Do you have the hard copy version or are you looking at a digital version? Because this is what my page 256 looks like. And it's dated 11/30. Yeah, page numbers are probably different. Do you know the chapter? The chapter would be right, and I would just have to look in that chapter for the right page number. But yeah, it looks like we might have different page numbers. This one is talking about Dean Eccles. And it's like sometime after Thanksgiving. Okay, so 256 for the hard copy book is chapter 77. So you said yours is on 79. Okay. Well, we know the chapters in this book are like a page long, so that won't take nothing. All right, I'm gonna let this play and almost dropped my whole coffee everywhere and see where it says this.
Or the full tax value of that vehicle's fair market value when you go to register it in the new state, regardless of what you paid before, regardless of if it's not you trying to one up the state. It's just a genuine, I bought a car and moved to Washington. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Washington has that law regardless. And what I was told is because Oregon is a border state and they have no sales tax. So people were going to Oregon to buy cars, not paying tax and registering in Washington. And Washington's way around that was to make a 90-day rule because you can't go 90 days without registration. You have to get your car switched over. So he had to, when he first came in, because he'd come in prior to that, we don't know when, and he had asked about changing his license, and someone there had advised him if he didn't want to pay the additional sales tax to wait and come back after 90 days.
Are you saying that he bought that vehicle 90 days? Like he had just bought that before he moved out from Pennsylvania to Washington? Okay.
So it's on page 264 in the hardcover. And yeah, all it mentions is when investigators check Kohberger's name in their databases, a police body cam shows that on August 21st, a Bryan C. Kohberger was detained in Moscow at a traffic stop and that the car had a rear Pennsylvania license plate LFZ 8649 that was set to expire on November 30th, and it had no front plates. Further DMV records were shown that on November 18th, just 5 days after the murders, Kohberger registered the vehicle in Washington and received new license plates front and back as is required, CFB 8708. This is also the, I don't think this is the first chapter where the damn fireman thing came into play with Dylan or not. It's just mentioned again for some reason. Okay. Yeah, it's mentioned on 264. But I don't know if that's like where I remember reading it from. Like I'm telling you, I don't know why, and I don't know, and I'm probably wrong, and I'm totally fine with being wrong. But I feel like I read a freaking document that talked about him going in, wearing all black, having gloves on. Like the way that it was written was really interesting. Maybe it was a stupid Howie Bloom Blum whatever article. That could be it. Okay, but like I said, this part right here is really, really important because he went to go in to do it ahead of time and he was told he had to wait. He was told he had to wait. And on top of that, he did not purchase this vehicle. I still have to dig out my USBs and get the Carfax. Somebody might have his Carfax already like out there on the internet somewhere. I'm pretty sure they do. I literally bought the Carfax the day that the plea came out to the public, like hours before the plea, because there was things about the vehicle itself I wanted to check when it comes to just different things about the vehicle. It doesn't have as much information on there as I really hoped it would for 50 freaking bucks, but you know what? It is what it is. That vehicle was given to him from his mother. So it shows the dealership where she got it from, and then there's like a date of title transfer on the Carfax. So this would have been from the date that it was transferred into his name that they would be looking at like the fees he would have to pay.
According to the title. And I can only go by the title issue date. So whether it was just him getting a replacement title or he just purchased the vehicle, I don't know. But
what if it was like in his mom's name and like it transferred into his name?
It could have been something that they did over there, like maybe she transferred it to his name before he left in Pennsylvania. Okay. And then when he came here with the car newly in his name, it was still within that 90 days and it looked like it was a new car to him.
You guys alert the police that, hey, we serviced him. We have our building is under 24-hour surveillance. How long do you guys keep that film? Like, because it was outside of like the 30 days when he was there, you know?
Yeah, no, I believe what she'd said was that she had like a private security firm that kept all the footage. And I think they keep it for like a certain amount of time. I don't know the dates though of how long that they keep it, but obviously long enough that they still have the footage from that day.
Are you?
I knew we read this shit somewhere. Thank you so much. Let me tell you something. I literally looked for this all over the place. And I think what threw me off is that I was looking for like certain keywords and like plate change and stuff like that. And that's not what they have it in here as. They have it in here as the title and vehicle registration. And for some reason, I wasn't looking up those words. 124, page 352. Let me pull this up so that we can I'll just show you guys the report real quick. Thank you so much. You are awesome. You're freaking amazing. Thank you so much. This is what this report looks like. And I'm just going to read it real quick. Read it really, really, really quick. I knew we read something somewhere. I knew I wasn't tripping. Okay. Number 124. This is written by Hugh Powell. And this is talking about how on January the 4th, 2023, ISP Detective Schwecke and I, which is the Hugh Powell guy, met with blank, 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 who is the owner of blank in Pullman. See, that's also crazy because I was under the impression that like licensing divisions were owned by the city or like the state. But I guess they can be franchised because that's kind of weird. Okay. Blank informed us that on November 18th, 2022, Kohberger came into blank and changed his title and vehicle registration from Pennsylvania to Washington for his Hyundai Elantra. Blank was able to provide us with security camera footage, including audio of the transaction with her clerk, blank, 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 and a receipt of the transaction. Detective Schwecke and I interviewed blank at blank. The following is a summary of the interview. For full details, review the audio. I wonder if Lana is going to try to get that interview. Yes. Amazing. Thank you so much. Let me tell you how many times, like over the past few days, girl, over the past few days. I need to get my index together. If my index was together, then I wouldn't have these problems. Okay. Blank remembered Kohberger coming in to switch his plates from Pennsylvania to Washington. Blank recalled Kohberger was a super nice guy and very charming. She even added him to their Christmas card list. I didn't know that. Kohberger wore gloves the entire time he was in. See, that's the statement right there that I remember us reading before. Kohberger wore gloves the entire time he was in, but didn't think it was abnormal due to the cold temperatures they were experiencing at the time. Now, she actually does have a little bit of a different answer for that here, which it's because she says that they were like driving gloves. They weren't winter gloves. They were more, well, she says isotoners and then makes like an O.J. Simpson reference to that, which I understand, but they weren't winter gloves. So she did find it odd at first, but it was cold and he was just using a glove that he was obviously like could function with because he didn't have to take off his gloves to write anything. They look like you can like pretty much do whatever. And if you can drive in them, if they're considered driving gloves, I'm guessing that they have grip and they're not like all slippy slidey like regular winter gloves. So she did think it was kind of strange because of the type of gloves that he has, and she'll say that here in the interview, but still neither here nor there. It's just a little bit of a different thing because his gloves were different kinds of gloves, which we will pop up examples of what isotoners and driving gloves look like because I honestly am not sure. The only thing that I remember is when she mentioned something about it in the interview, people in the chat were asking about leather. Hey, Mike. People were asking about leather, and I don't know if they were leather. She mentions leather, but black gloves could look leather and not be leather. And we know that he's apparently like a big vegan. So that was a question. Okay. The reason Kohberger was switching his title and vehicle registration to Washington was that he was a graduate student at WSU and needed to get residency. And then everything was turned over to Moscow. There it is. I knew we had read it somewhere. Thank you again so much for telling me that. Damn, I was looking for that for days. I'm going to write a big old 124 right here on my hand so I won't forget. Holy shiitake. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so let's listen to the rest of this interview now. Again, thank you so much for telling me the number. Awesome stuff. Okay.
Where that Bryan Kohberger's vehicle didn't have fog lights. Did anybody ever talk to you about that?
No.
No. Okay. Just curious if they ever mentioned that. So you basically get involved.
See, like that kind of stuff. I wonder like what her opinion would be if somebody sat her down and like just showed her all of the things. Again, her opinion, it doesn't sway anything. It doesn't. But it'd be interesting to see what she would have to say after like actually looking at all the real information. You know what I mean?
Because you're the girl that checked him out.
Yes. And they were mostly curious about like how he acted, how he looked. Was there anything suspicious about him? Which it's hard to remember stuff like that. Absolutely. Over a month and later, when I didn't know that this interaction was going to be placed under a microscope in the future. Like at the time, that Peggy in the video, she just thought it was a regular day, no need to pay attention, just have fun with the customer, get them help and out the door. A lot of stuff I didn't really recall. Like people are asking about whether he had any wounds or injuries. The detectives asked that a lot. I don't remember because that's not something I would have thought to know.
Yeah.
So whether he did or not, I cannot say.
Okay.
Either way.
Do you recall which investigators talked to you?
I don't remember their names because it's so many years ago now. I'm sure it's on a case file somewhere.
I was going to say, was it the FBI or was it Idaho?
2 Idaho state detectives.
Mm-hmm. Your name is not in any interview.
Interesting. Well, they didn't interview me like at the station or anything like that. They came to my work to talk to me.
Oh my gosh. So you were a grand jury witness.
They asked about the transfer of the title, why he had to wait, why he had to do it around that date, what were the state laws regarding that. They asked me about the required odometer reading, which again is just a Washington state law with any vehicle that's like less than 20 years old. Both the seller and buyer must sign an odometer agreement. Or if you transfer the vehicle into a state, you have to swear about the actual.
The odometer thing there I find crazy. And I know this has nothing to do with anything, but the fact that They want you to be so honest about your odometer. It's like they're policing how many miles you can drive. And I just I don't like the rules. Texas is not that ridiculous. And I know she said that like their state's one of like the only ones that does this kind of crap. These car rules here are wild.
Actual odometer readout on your car. And I think that's just to protect future buyers so that people aren't lying about odometer readouts, because as we know, low miles, you can sell your car for a lot higher, miles, not so much. So
That's
it's
true.
just an effort to, I think, keep people honest about the miles on the
Honestly, that's
vehicle.
crazy.
Do you remember what he said when he was there? Do you recall that at all?
About the odometer?
Yeah, like I could play the video again. Do you remember what he said?
Like
Was it like
how many miles?
115? Yeah, was it like
Yeah, I remember him
115,000?
saying that. And then he had to go out and check to write the exact miles on there. And yeah, but I don't remember about how much he said, because I mean, I heard a lot of odometer miles in those days. So
first of all, you talked to the detectives, then you talked with Bill and Ashley, and then you actually are part of the grand jury. When did they gag you? Did they gag you
long before that?
Okay.
Immediately when I first went to talk to the prosecutors, they were like, well, just so you know, you're going to be a witness going forward. So you cannot talk about this with anybody, not even your loved ones, your family, your friends, nobody. Excuse me. So I just immediately had to not say anything, which was very strange because it's hard to explain why you're disappearing for, patches of time and have to be like, oh, nothing. I was just running errands.
Yeah,
and
right.
Like, people are like, doing what? Nothing. I don't know.
I can imagine it'd be weird knowing that you're doing nothing wrong, right? You're doing nothing wrong. You're helping a case. Let's put it that way. You're helping a case and you can't tell anyone anything. You can't be honest with your boss. You can't be honest with anybody and tell them, I can't be specific, but this is what I'm doing. Like, you have to just lie to people for months about what you're doing. That's crazy. That has to suck.
Kidding.
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
Did you ever get a phone call from Ann Taylor or somebody from the defense?
Not initially, not prior to the grand jury trial or initially afterwards. In the beginning of the year, I received a subpoena from the prosecution to go testify in the trial down in Boise. Okay. And shortly after that, I received another subpoena from the defense to go testify at the trial down in Boise. And that kind of caused a little confusion for me because I was like, well, I don't understand why I'm getting subpoenaed by both sides. I thought it was one or the other. Well, it turns out it can be both.
Yeah, her name is on both
contacted
lists.
me shortly after that, and we had a video chat like we are now, but not live, about why they had subpoenaed me.
Are you allowed to talk about that?
Y'all realize that if she would have gotten on the stand and said what she said, then all the stuff about him changing his plates in order to try to hide the fact that he was the car on the 1112 camera would have been blown out of the water the second that she started talking and said that he had gone in there before and was told to wait. Both sides knew that. The narrative around this whole thing is so ridiculous. It's every little thing. It's literally every little thing.
Yeah, as far as I know. She just said that because I had a normal interaction with him, that they liked that they wanted to talk about that, basically. I think I was one of the few people who was like, no, I didn't get creepy vibes. I didn't know that it was him. It was just a regular interaction.
Was it her or was it one of her?
It was her.
Did she say that she was probably going to call you as a witness or?
Yeah, they had already subpoenaed me. So
I don't know.
Was she asking you questions about did you think that Bryan was trying to hit on you? Did she say anything like that?
She did not ask me that. No.
Did you feel like that ever when you were there?
No, I don't think so. But I guess I don't generally think people are hitting on me. I mean,
see, I know that some people were trying to say that he was flirting with her or whatever. I just heard a normal conversation. I never got anything like that. And even if he would have been, it's not a big deal. But for some reason, a lot of people want that to be the case, which I find kind of strange, but okay.
It's not the first thought that ever popped into my head.
That. You weren't oh my God, that guy was totally trying to hit on me.
No, I didn't think that.
Mm-hmm.
Were you surprised? Were you I'm shocked that it's him that they're saying that did this? Or did you were you just wow?
I mean, a little, I guess, initial, really? No way. And then as things came to light, it started seeming like, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, it seems kind of obvious now, I guess.
When you say like it seems kind of obvious, what do you think makes it like? Are you talking about like the facts of the case? Did they tell you that you're allowed to follow like the case or not?
They said try and stay.
That's why people say that she must think that he's guilty. I'll just play it one more time. She doesn't come out and just straight up say it, but it's just the way she said things all sort of started like piecing together. And again, if she was told not to really look at the case, then she's getting like bits and pieces of Ashley Banfeld running her mouth. You know what I mean? So she's not really getting like full on details.
And then as things came to light, it started seeming like, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, it seems kind of obvious now, I guess.
When you say like it seems kind of obvious, what do you think makes it like? Are you talking about like the facts of the case? Did they tell you that you're allowed to follow like the case or not?
They said try and stay away from it, and I did. True. I honestly, I'm.
This is true. The defense asked for the plea deal. I know that a lot of people, they seem to have it a little bit back and forth. And I know that it seems crazy. It really seems like the most insane thing to think that after everything that we have seen, that the defense is the one that asked for this. The only thing that makes sense to me is that he didn't want to die for something that he didn't do. Because what else could there possibly be? Do we not see how there's nothing here? Like, we're not making things up. This isn't hunches. This isn't gut feelings. This isn't feelings whatsoever. This is physical evidence. This is reports from the forensic investigators. This is information from the state, information from the police, information from the defense, information from ISP, information from all over the place. This is nothing short of lacking. There is 0% of nothing here. Nothing. So yes, the defense is the one who approached the state. And according to what was talked about in court, nobody had considered this before. I don't know what's going to end up happening here. I don't know how much more information has to come out to the public before they feel like they've got a good chance of moving forward here. Maybe that's what they're waiting for. Maybe they're waiting until all of these damn documents are unsealed. And at the pace that it's going, it could take some years. Let's be serious. So maybe that's what they're waiting for. Maybe there's going to be just more that ends up coming out that ends up making it even more obvious than it already is how wrong this is. Because nothing is proving anything. And trust whenever I tell you, everyone here is looking for it. But when you have Santa himself standing up and saying, we can't put him there. No connection to the house, no connection to the victims, no connection to anybody. We can't. Oh, and he wasn't stalking anybody, so you better stop saying that because that's false. And you're going to make people think he did something he didn't do. And that's not even coming from the defense. That's crazy as shit. Crazy as shit.
One of those obnoxious people who likes following the rules. So like if I'd see something pop up, I'd be like, don't look, swipe away. But it's hard not to hear stuff about it. And especially since people would bring it up around me, not knowing I was involved with it. And it's not like I could say, stop talking. I'm just like, oh, okay, interesting. Yeah.
Did you ever think to yourself, he was wearing gloves the whole time?
Oh yeah, let me look.
Yes. Okay. And this is the one thing that I remember the most vividly about our interaction because he walked in with gloves on and I'm thinking, what guy wears driving gloves? What a goob.
That's what I want to know. Do you think that they were driving gloves? Did you peek at them? Were they straight up driving gloves?
Yes, they were like isotoners. Okay. Like black leather gloves, if you know. Black leather gloves, if you know.
So I stopped that there because of the leather thing. But fake leather can look like leather. Fake leather can look like leather. So when I type in driving gloves for men, let me actually go to Google because being this kind of stupid when it comes to research stuff. Driving gloves for men. They are very thin. Some of them literally stop just right here. They don't go up here further like your winter glove were. They stop about right here. So These are made of deer skin. I mean, I'm sure that they have some that aren't made of any animal product whatsoever. Like, let's be serious. It's 2022 at that point. They definitely have differences of things that they can offer. But this is what she's talking about. Like, they're short, thin, fitted, tight gloves. Now, I don't see any skin showing. I don't know if we would be able to see any skin holes showing with the angles that we have to say like it looking like this. I don't think so. I think these are $50 just at Walmart. That's crazy as shit. $50 at Walmart? You can get a pair of Coach gloves for $2 cheaper. That's crazy. $308. That's wild. Some of these biatches are expensive. But yeah, see, even like right here, it shows like how close to the skin that they look. Yeah. Driving gloves, not normal winter gloves, which like if you're going to try to function as a germaphobe, you're going to probably wear gloves like that. Gloves that are closer to the skin, that you can function with, that you can probably still text with, that you can write with. I mean, that's sort of like theme. That tracks for what we know about him, honestly.
I remember this because of thinking like, who wears driving gloves? Like, that's really dorky. And I think I said in my video, it's quirky. It's quirky.
Almost 30.
But,
It's quirky, yeah.
He wasn't young.
It is quirky though. And like, but it was cold. And then he'd mentioned being from back east. And like my simple brain was like, seems
What
like
was the
something
temperature
people
that
from
day?
back east would do. Wear driving gloves. You know, I don't know.
Well,
So that's why that part of it sticks out in my head.
what if I told you he was like a germaphobe? Did you ever
Major.
hear this about him?
I did not. And that wouldn't surprise me with it being still the COVID
Okay.
time. Like it still wasn't like totally over. People were still freaked out. So seeing people in gloves and masks all the time wasn't abnormal.
That's what I said. When people were, especially before we knew the truth about the Albertsons and the Costco thing, because at some point it was like in everyone's brains that when he went to Albertsons, he had on gloves and a mask and everything was all like all incognito and he was trying to hide everything. But then we see him and he's walking in looking like he just came out of church. No gloves, no mask, no nothing. But even then I was like, this was at the end of COVID. People were still under hella restrictions. Everybody's plastic stuff was still up everywhere. Some places still had curfews. So even if he would have been like full on gloves and masks, even if he wasn't a super germaphobe, it still would have leaned towards normal because of what the world was dealing with at that point in time. So then you consider the germaphobe thing. Then you consider the fact that this actually was a situation where people were getting sick with COVID and people were freaking out about stuff. The gloves make sense. That's another thing that the guilters are refusing to even pay attention to are his medical diagnoses that have been around for like ever when it comes to the way that he reacts to biologics. I don't understand why people who swear that they only care about facts and truth and real justice seem to just glance over so many important things. It's insane.
I was like, I can't wait to ask her because if they're like super tight fitting, I'll say this: who wants to take them off and put them back on? If they were like that type to be like a pain in the ass type of thing, but I didn't know if they were like more like winter gloves. And I'm like, how the heck is he writing? But I noticed that like he didn't have his like phone out. You know how like a lot of people, and you guys have that conversation about like your phones, and you're like, I could go like the whole day and not even look at mine.
There are different flavors of OCD, just like there are different flavors of autism. Bryan Kohberger has a medical, biological, whatever you want to call it, OCD. He doesn't want to be touched with your spit. He doesn't want you breathing next to him. None of the things. He washes his hands so much they turn tomato red. We've seen it. There's different types of OCD. Just because it's not one of those everything in alphabetical order and sleeve length and color and everything else that a lot of people think about when it comes to OCD does not mean it is not a form of OCD. It is a form of OCD.
Like it's like not a big thing for me. Do you remember what he said about that? Was he the same way?
He agreed with me. I think like, oh yeah,
yep.
totally me. I'm the same way.
Yeah. Like it's just like whatever. Did you see the selfie picture that he took?
I think I've seen some popping up here and there, like shirtless selfies.
He basically took a picture already of his hands right kind of after the crime. If his hands would have been all bruised because of the amount of stabs, I'm not like trigger warning here. It just, that's a repetitive motion that would have caused like bruising. And that could have been something that if somebody would have noticed, and if you're wearing gloves, then you can't notice that, you know? But he took a picture, a selfie picture, that bruising might not even have taken effect yet. So I was just curious, was he complaining at all about like his hands being sore or anything like that? He was.
So she's not wrong on that. That's why I had that little pop-up thing on there. She's not wrong in way of how people's bodies work, but you also have to take into consideration that he was a vegan. He wasn't getting a lot of iron. I don't know how long he'd been taking those supplements, but normally, as far as I understood from dealing with an aunt who was vegan and lived with us back and forth because she couldn't get her shit together whenever I was a kid, she bruised constantly. She was orange from drinking carrot juice 24/7, like literally orange. And she bruised all the time. The smallest thing would make her bruise. So while technically that is true, that it could take up to like 48 hours, sometimes a little bit longer for a bruise to form. I've never had one take that long to show up. My kids have never had that long for one to show up. I've never actually seen anybody take that long for a bruise to show up. Normally, if like I'm playing with the dogs and I feel like they hit me a little bit too hard, the next morning I've got a bruise. They sort of just pop up overnight. So while technically, yes, there are some people that can take a little while. Some people it shows up like within an hour or two. So that's just something to note.
He didn't, to me, no.
When you first found out, like I said, you guys did the work behind it. You guys were the ones that notified the cops. Was your boss and stuff interviewed? Because they have to get in touch with, like, how did they get the surveillance video? Did they go through?
So they just talked to her and asked if they could have it. And she was like, of course, I'll have my guy burn you put it on a flash drive or burn a disc or whatever. They probably don't even burn discs anymore. Who am I kidding?
That part right there.
So probably.
Well, actually, no, they did burn a lot of shit onto discs. Like a lot of the information in the report says that like it was burned to a CD or to a disc and placed into evidence. This is, I mean, that more than anything else, like there's no way that you're going to tell me that he was walking around in a soft mask, barely like just normal ass gloves on and a knife, and didn't come out with like scratches and stuff on his face. Like that's the biggest thing to me. That's the biggest thing to me. You're telling me, Dylan, that the guy that you saw had his eyeballs sticking out and his nose sticking out. And if you want me to believe that it was Bryan Kohberger with his big old nose, you're sitting there trying to tell me that none of those 4 people got any hits in? That Xana wasn't clawing the shit out of whoever was attacking her? Are we for real? We're going to pretend? There's no way. There's no way. There's no way that you walk out of there and nobody scratched your face. No one poked you in the eye. No one pulled your hair. There's not markings on your neck from being scratched back at. Xana was like I see it in my head and it's just disgustingly horrible what I feel like she was probably moving around and doing in order to get away from whatever was happening. It's all written on the floor. It's all written on the floor. There's no way. There's no way that you walk out and you leave no footprints of all the blood that just got spilled everywhere as you're leaving, no matter which direction that you're going. And there's no way that you walk out of there with no scratches on the most vulnerable parts of your entire body. There's no way. No way in shit.
Put it on a flash drive.
There you go.
I think something like that. But yeah, because I had to watch that video with the detectives when they came and talked to me. And then I also watched it when I first went and talked to the prosecutors, and then watched it again at the grand jury trial when I was being, when I was testifying at the trial.
What other questions did they?
Hey, RC. Thank you for being here for so long. And welcome, Tiffs. Welcome, 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 welcome.
They ask you at the grand jury as far as...
they asked me about the gloves.
They did?
Mm-hmm. Asked me about his demeanor. And like I said, it was mostly like technical questions about the legal side of things, like the title transfer, the odometer, things like that.
Did you get the sense that they were trying to figure out if he was purposely going there to like mask his car to like change the plates?
It's hard to say because again, with this like gag order and with the way everything was done and them trying to keep everything very separate and secret, I didn't really know what role my testimony was playing in this whole thing.
Okay.
You know, I just knew they asked me to come there and tell them what happened. And all I can do is show up and honestly tell them what happened.
Which was
And whether that helps or hurts, I have no idea. They didn't like really clue me into that. And I get that it's for a reason. They're trying to build a case and they need it to stay, you know, secret so that their jury pool doesn't get tainted and things like that. I was just like one little piece. So I'm not sure how it all shaped into the full case that they had.
Yeah.
And from what you're telling me, it seems like he had to do this based on the conversations that were had the last time he was there.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like otherwise, because that's what I've always wondered. Why didn't he switch his plates and do everything all at the same time when he went and did his license? Like who wants to go to the DMV again?
Exactly. Right. And I will say though that the licensing office for driver's license is a totally separate office in Washington State. All we did at that DOL was vehicles.
See, his dexterity and mobility issues are the reason why I think he probably gets pulled over a lot. Because that all kind of like goes hand in hand. And Home Dude gets pulled over like a lot. He gets lots of parking tickets. It's got to be his mobility and dexterity issues. That's the only thing that makes sense with that, along with the visual snow. It has to impact driving, I would assume.
And vessel licensing.
Bryan Kohberger, regardless, would have had to go to two separate places.
Exactly. Like if you bought the vehicle and already paid taxes on it, just because you happen to come from a state that has a lesser tax rate, why should you be punished because you decided to come to Washington State to, you know, go to school or for a job opportunity or something like that? Like you shouldn't have to give the state more tax money, in my opinion.
You had to give him two plates, basically the front and the back.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he was like, hey, we don't do that in Pennsylvania. We only need one.
That was actually a funny part of the interview with the detectives, because I've actually had to explain this to numerous people moving into Washington State. We are one of the few states that requires both front and back license plates. So a lot of people moving here don't have a mount on the front of their plate or on the front of their car for a plate because they've never been required to have one. So they don't come stock like they do in Washington. So people move.
That's actually really hella freaking super important. This is exactly why I need to go back in and find whatever pictures that they had from the Dateline situation. Somebody had sent me some. I just can't remember it off the top of my head right now which plate was showing. But there were pictures from Bryan Kohberger's phone, according to the Dateline leak. Let's just preface that. And in one of them, it has a plate in the front of his vehicle. Probably the new plate. Most likely the new plate. But that's interesting to consider because what did we find like a long time ago? What was found that we started talking about? The picture that was submitted of SV1 from the state has this like rectangular shadowing at the very bottom of the front bumper in the photo that the state themselves submitted to the court. So it looks like it could possibly either have had one there, had a mount there, something, but it's rectangular, like it was there. So if he truly had to go and get a mount to put that on his vehicle, then there's more proof right there that there's no way in shit that SV1 is his vehicle because he wouldn't have had that rectangular spot on there. And again, that's the one from the state. Nobody had to do anything with it. You literally can go to the document on the Idaho Case of Interest website and just blow the damn thing up on your freaking computer screen or on your phone to the max that you can to see it yourself. Nobody has to edit it. You don't have to put it into an editor. You don't got to change the filter, change none of the things. Literally just zoom in and you can see it for yourself. The forming is there. It's definitely there. And something else that was really important is that Brett Payne made it very, very clear that no one gave two shits about the plates or anything else until they found out that Bryan Kohberger was from Pennsylvania where they didn't have plates. Then all of a sudden, the no plate situation came into play. They didn't care about that until then. Reverse engineering. They did everything reverse engineering.
Move here and be like, well, I don't have a place to put the plate on the front of my car. So what I told people was, well, legally you have to have it on the front of your car in Washington State, but I see a lot of people put it on their dashboard. just so that they can show, I do have the plate, and as I told him, like I told other people, I'm like, I'm not sure the legality of this, but I just know some people do that if you're worried about having it displayed, but you do need to get them out, and as I'm watching this with the detectives, they both just kind of turn and look at me, and I'm like with that look, like, are you giving him illegal advice? And I'm like, I didn't mean to. Like I said, I don't know the legality of it. I've just seen people do it.
Awesome about it. You're just advice. Like, I don't know if it's legal, but I just see people that are doing it. Like,
yeah, but of course I'm saying this, and it's on camera, and these cops are like, "What?" They were messing with me a little. They weren't being like 100% serious, but they were kind of like messing with me a little bit on it.
The 17th, I think. I don't know how many times she spoke to the FBI in between that, but we know that on the 13th, when Mallory specifically says to her questions about the eyes and the eyebrows, I don't even think that he asks about the eyes. He asks her if she remembered what his eyebrows looked like, and she straight up says, "No, I don't remember what his eyes looked like either." That was on day one. Nothing about bushy eyebrows or anything else came out of her mouth at the scene when she was talking to Noons, at the police department when she was talking to Mallory, both times, nothing about bushy eyebrows. Then all of a sudden on the 17th, she says something about bushy eyebrows. And we know that there was several interviews going on in between then, plus her attorney. So I don't know exactly where that came from. All I know is that she refused to give them information for a sketch artist. So if you can sit here and you can like remember eyebrows enough to say that they were bushy, and you can say that that's a literal defining factor when it comes to this person that you're claiming was in your house, why won't you sit down with a sketch artist? You'll take a pen and a paper and you'll draw a freaking little mask by your damn self, but you won't sit down with a sketch artist? Why? Is it because the person that you're going to describe isn't going to end up looking like somebody that everybody recognizes? That's the only reason I think that she didn't do it, because she was going to end up outing the real people here. Because why else wouldn't you? And then you change up what you say?
Like, oh, really now? And I was like, oh gosh, man. The one, of course, this is forever like attached to me now that I said that. Like, why is she telling people to do that? That's not legal.
So basically, he didn't have a mount then. So
no.
He was like, do you remember that? He tells you, like, I don't even have a mount. Because in Ohio, we don't have to have.
He didn't say that specifically. He just said, like, we don't have license plates on the front of our car in Pennsylvania. And I was like, well, if you don't have the mount, you can, some people put it on their dashboard, but you do have to go to like an auto parts store and purchase a mount so that you can mount your license plate.
Well, now we have the report. She just, I don't remember exactly why I put this part here. I guess because she was asking her certain things about, she was talking about just looking her up some more. They had like another conversation about looking her up and not being able to find anything. But we know now that, wrong one. Hallie's mom, is it Haley's mom or Hallie's mom? I don't want to say your daughter's name wrong. She found us the document, which is supplement number 124. But yeah, that part right here, I'll never get over. This is not something that's being made up because we don't like Dylan and we think that she's a freaking little liar. This is something this chick really said. He was white, but I don't know how he was white. I just know that he was white. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Dylan refused to talk to a sketch artist. She was asked and she said no. She didn't remember enough to talk to a sketch artist. That's crazy as hell. Thank you for the gifted membership. Fly high as a butterfly. Thank you so much.
The one, of course, this is forever like attached to me now that I said that. So like, why is she telling people to do that? That's not legal.
So basically, he didn't have a mount then. So
no.
He was like, do you remember that? He tells you, like, I don't even have a mount. Because in Ohio, we don't have to have.
He didn't say that specifically. He just said, like, we don't have license plates on the front of our car in Pennsylvania. And I was like, well, if you don't have the mount, you can, some people put it on their dashboard, but you do have to go to like an auto parts store and purchase a mount so that you can mount your license plate.
How many times did they have you come back to the grand jury? Did you just have to go once, or did you have to?
It was just the once because it was just a trial. I had to go to the Moscow courthouse over in Idaho and basically walk down this like blacked out hallway where the windows were all blacked out. and
would
go
freak
into
me
this
out.
like little windowless room and sit for a while until I was called. And then they brought, me out there, and I had to go up and be sworn in. And it was just the judge, the jurors, and then all the lawyers. And then they played the video and asked me questions and paused it to clarify different things as we watched the video.
What else? So you had to keep this from your family.
See, like the way that she describes that is so creepy. Like it's a windowless room, blacked out windows, everything covered up, black hallways. Like I'd be a little bit creeped out.
And then they played the video and asked me questions and paused it to clarify different things as we watched the video.
What else? So you had to keep this from your family,
Yes.
like everybody. Did they give you a call when did they call people and say, okay, you're ungagged? How did that work?
No, I heard from someone else that was like, oh my gosh, did you hear Bryan Kohberger just pled guilty? And I'm like, what does that mean? And they're like, it's over. He pled guilty. He's going to prison.
Why did I literally read that in tune, bro? I literally just started hearing that song. That's hilarious. That's funny.
And I was like, oh, interesting, and of course I'm not saying anything at that time, but in my mind thinking, am I done? Am I free? Like, is this over? So I went home and I have phone numbers to contact them, for information whenever I need it. So I called my contact over there and she was like, that's what we know. We have a list of people to call. You're on that list. We just hadn't quite gotten there yet because it's still new. We're still processing the paperwork and finalizing everything. And then they said, I think as soon as this is all finalized, we'll give you a call and let you know that the gag order is released. And sometime later, I got like some texts and some emails saying, hey, the gag order's been released.
Yeah.
I did kind of wonder how stuff was coming out the whole course of that, like interviews and shows and documentaries. And
People
I'm like,
breaking the
how
law,
are
baby.
these people talking to them? Aren't they under a gag order too?
Biggest question. The two grand jury members that Steve Goncalves has not only came out and said on national television that they spoke to, and yes, he has mentioned it on News Nation with Ashley Banfeld. He's mentioned it to what's his face over on the interview room. And it was in the conversation that he was having with that Brat Norton TikToker chick. There's also a report about somebody emailing them and letting them know that there was grand jury violations. I asked for that information and I'm just being told that like it just doesn't exist even though there's a report for it. So that's the best question, Peggy. We don't know. You're the only one that seemed to give a shit about following the rules and doing the right thing, which is crazy. I mean, maybe I can't say that, but there's been so many leaks and so many people coming out and saying so many kinds of crazy things. I don't know how people aren't actually getting in trouble for breaking the rules. Like, what are the rules there for? If you're not going to enforce them. I mean, we still have it's been a year now almost since the Dateline leak. May is when that stupid thing came out. And we haven't heard a word about that leak investigation. I think it was Celebrite. I think it was that weird ass lady and her simpy little husband that own or work for Celebrite. Heather Barnhart and her dude. I think that's who it was. That's who I think it was.
But he didn't know like all the details. And he was like, hey, I know you worked at the DOL. I have a friend who's writing a book. And I was like, I can't talk about this. Like, I have no information to give you.
Oh, that was James Patterson.
Apparently so. And I don't know how that book got put out before the gag order was released, but
all of this stuff
did it. Actually, I was gonna look that up when she said that because she's technically not wrong. This entire book, okay, this entire waste of trees, these poor freaking trees that died for nothing. All right, this whole damn thing was written before the plea because it has the fact that a trial was supposed to happen in the cover. Okay, this is all. I hate this damn dude for doing this. I swear on everything. James Patterson should be freaking ashamed of himself. Vicky Ward is a loser too. They both freaking just straight up suck. All of this was written in 2023. Now, again, I didn't get to finish this thing yet because I really don't even want to, even though I know I'm going to have to. But I still have like all of this that I have not finished because I know this book is so freaking full of actual dog shit that I just don't want to lose any more brain cells. I'm going to have to just sacrifice a few, though, to get it done and over with. I'm going to have no choice. But this entire thing, everything was 2023. Because in the messages, again, between Steve Goncalves and Brett Norton that took place right after the grand jury, summer of 2023, he is mentioning James Patterson. He's mentioning the interviews. And we know that Stacey Chapin talked to him. The Amazon series that came out that has all the Chapins in it, that's basically all of the Stacey stuff, came from this in 2023. So yeah, explain to me. ISP, Moscow Police Department, Megan Marshall, Judge John Hippler. I mean, make it make sense how nobody's getting in trouble. You've got the names, bro. You have the actual names. Like James Patterson was such a shit that he literally went in and put people's names in here. For who talked to him under a gag order, including Chief Fry. What? And no one's in trouble. No one's in trouble. What's the point in calling it the justice system if nothing ever actually works right? Like from my situation to this situation to y'all's situations to everybody's other situations, how come nobody actually like gets punished for what they need to be punished for? Nothing ever happens that needs to happen. What's the point of the gag order and all the money to fight it in court and to keep everybody quiet and to send out all of these cease and desists and NDAs and gags and all these other things that went on? What's the point of all of that? What's the point? It doesn't take a year to tell us who leaked shit to Dateline. We should know. Me too. I hate this case so freaking bad. Beyond freaking bad. I hate this case. I hate everything about this case. Everything
going on.
I didn't talk to anybody. I did like they told me to. I shut up.
Do you recall, like, was he super skinny in person?
Yeah. Very skinny, tall guy.
Very skinny, tall guy?
Yeah. But not like unhealthily skinny, like unhealthy skinny. Like he was just a slender guy.
Did you think his eyebrows were really bushy?
I mean, yeah, his eyebrows were prominent. Very prominent.
Is this the type of video that they showed you? Was it zoomed?
Now, again, which most of you guys already know, his eyes are like pretty deep set. And his bone around his eyes, like it is very much like it protrudes out more. Like his brow bone definitely protrudes out more. I wouldn't call his eyebrows bushy. I really wouldn't. He has like normal ass freaking dude eyebrows. Like my son's eyebrows are like probably thicker than Kohberger's eyebrows. I feel like his eyebrows are pretty normal. It's literally, to me, in my own opinion, the way that his bone structure is that makes them stick out a little bit more.
Then
they did show me both angles. They didn't zoom it in at all. And I will say that the video that TMZ dropped, that's been dropped online, the audio is much clearer than the original.
Video
was with when you saw it on TMZ, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they weren't using an enhanced version when
they were just using the straight up original video.
Bryan Kohberger had just, I think, gotten a haircut. Could you tell that?
Yeah, he did look like he had a fresh haircut.
Okay, yep. I'm trying to get in touch with the person that cut his hair. If you know who that is, to send her.
I do not, but we only have like.
She did an interview. Let me see if I can pull it up because I'm pretty sure it's still out there. It was like 2 minutes maybe. Maybe not, maybe more like 45 seconds that she came out and talked to the news. Let me see if I can find it.
Like 2 places to cut your hair in town. Like there's a Great Clips, and then there used to be a Supercuts, but it closed. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna see if I can get in touch with that broad. That is what you're talking about. This little window here that you're behind, right?
This is like a plexiglass type thing, and then there's a little microphone right there, like in the middle of the window.
Oh, this is what I didn't ask. When he uses his card to pay, did they ever ask to get any information on what card he used or anything like that?
They did not ask me.
Okay.
If they asked the boss, they may have asked the boss because that would have been the person that had access to that.
So basically, did you or was it your boss that called in the tip line?
My boss.
Mhm.
Okay. Was it the FBI tip line, or did you just do the regular one?
I honestly don't know. She went into her office to make the call and then was like, hey, so it's some detectives are going to come by to talk to you. And I was like, what, today? And she was like, no, in like a couple days. And then sure enough, a couple days later, they came by to see me.
How were they going about gathering any information on him?
I do know in Washington, even the police, I believe, do have to go through Olympia and file a public records request to get any information about vehicle licensing. So
Okay.
maybe they were waiting on Olympia.
Okay. So, and you never remember anybody telling you to be on the lookout for, or them talking about that they are looking for white Elantras?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah.
I mean, there may have been something on the news possibly, but I just don't really recall when that all came out. If it was before, during, after.
But nobody came to like your place of employment.
No, and said be on the lookout for a car. No, nothing like that.
Or just have you guys registered any or anything like that? Like it wasn't.
No.
Okay.
It is very surreal.
I mean, I'm shocked that I did not come across your name in any of the reports. I'm going to do a FOIA now again on it. They never gave you anything, did they?
No, because like at the time, yeah, I didn't even think like anything was really official until they were like, yeah, you're under a gag order and you're going to testify. You know, it just all seemed like I was just like providing tip information before that until they actually were like, no, we want you to be a witness and in this trial. So yeah.
Here, during this day, did you ever, because they cut it right after the interview, or not the interview, but when he leaves, did you ever have any conversations with like your coworker here to your right or anybody in the building?
That's my friend JL. I love her. She's the best.
Did you ever like talk to her or anybody that day to say, after he would have left, oh my God, what a creep?
No.
But
not really like that. And like, I mean, there were like people that would be like jerks or like, strange, and you kind of like turn, you're like, whoa, that was weird. But this particular interaction was not one of them. I mean, except for him being a Yankees fan.
Right. And you called it though. You're like, and I was shocked to find out that he was a Yankees fan, but then he's talking about the Brooklyn background and which makes sense then,
Yeah, that's what tied it together yeah.
Have you ever heard of a name, Brent Kopaka?
No, I don't think so.
Nobody was in his car, right, when he was there?
No.
Okay.
It was just him.
If there's talks about Bryan Kohberger ever appealing this, which has been in the talks, did they ever mention anything to you about like?
They have not.
Okay.
At this juncture. So I do not know anything.
I found it, but it's on Shithead's freaking channel.
More than anybody else does.
And that's it. Yeah, it's on Shithead's channel. Oh, I found somebody who's not a shithead. Okay, we'll do it this way. And by shithead, I mean JLR. It was on JLR's channel. That's the first one that I saw. Okay, so I found this one on Ikids, and I don't know where the original is, but it looks like he just has the right here. This is her. This is the girl that cut Bryan's hair. I found it. It's right here. This is the girl that cut Bryan's hair. So let's listen to this for a second.
Bryan Kohberger was one of my regulars.
Ooh.
I've been cutting his hair since July.
What?
And the
Okay.
first
There's her
time
name right there. Rosie Perez.
I was ever contacted by Bryan was through voicemail.
Hi, my name is Brian. Would you be able to give me a haircut tomorrow by any chance?
My last appointment with him was December 2nd at 1:45 p.m.
Right before
After
he
the
was
murders?
home.
It's crazy to find out I interacted with this person. I touched this person's hair. I made this person look and feel good about themselves.
I saw his mugshot and just about fell on the floor.
There we go. Yeah, that's who it was. So I don't know if she's going to end up talking to anybody or not. Alana seems to be able to get interviews from people. I don't really do interviews. I'm not really a big people-y person. But maybe she'll be able to get a hold of her. I don't know if it shows the name of it. Let me see if it shows the name of it. Is there a name of it anywhere? So this was an ABC 2020 Horror in Idaho special, I guess, that came out. I know y'all can't see it. Powers Barbershop. Let's see if that's still an active situation. Because Home Chick just said that there was like a Great Clips and a what'd she say? Smart Styles or something? That's the one inside of Walmart. So this is where it is. It's right here. Where is, okay, so here's WSU and Powers Barbershop is right here. See if it'll let me go down here. Right here. That looks like a completely different location. This image was captured September 2025. This does not look like the same one that they just had. The one that we just saw was very commercial. This is definitely more of a residential type setting, which is fine as long as the licensing is there, and I'm sure she has it. But yeah, that definitely is not the same commercial building that we just saw. At all. What the hell? Look how similar this car looks. Not this hatchback, obviously, but look. This looks like the car in the dumpster video in Linda Lane. It's got the shark fin on it, the upturned angle in the window. Woo! See how many of those cars are there? See how many of those cars are there? Over 20,000 of those vehicles. Crazy. 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 All right, you guys. That's it for that one. Was it a Honda Accord? It did look like a longer car. Well, somebody else has Sonata. Oh my God, they're everywhere. Yeah. They are everywhere. Isn't that nuts? They said over 20,000 vehicles that fit that description is what they were looking at. So even though it's like crazy that we see it everywhere, we know that they're everywhere. That's why it's so hard to believe, even if you wanted to believe what they're telling you about the way that the car moved around, they can't prove any of that in the dark, especially with that many vehicles that they're looking at. Like they've already came out and told us that it's that many vehicles. So to say that there's not multiple vehicles like that literally driving on the road at the exact same time, crossing paths with each other, you would be dumb to think that that's not how things are happening. Because that's how things are happening. And we also need to remember that they took away everything from Pullman to Moscow when it came to the white car that they wanted to follow. Gone from anything that was supposed to be submitted for trial. They wanted to start the timeline over in that Indian Hills-ish area, I think is what it's called, on the opposite side of 95 in Moscow. Like just poof, there he is. I don't know how they thought that was going to work. I don't know how they thought that was going to work. Yeah, that's another thing. We don't even know if that car is white. We don't. And you know what's hilarious? Oh my God. You know what pisses me off so bad? There are a lot of channels out there that are like straight up guilters. They don't give a shit what the damn evidence says. And they don't care that it might not actually be his freaking vehicle because it's not his vehicle. They don't care about the fact that, oh, we really don't know what color that car is. None of those things matter in this case. But when it comes to a different case, like when it comes to Nancy Guthrie's case and the car that's in that footage, everyone is like, oh, well, we don't really know because it's a black and white camera what color that vehicle is. And these are people that are so freaking adamant that that's Bryan's car on the 1112 camera. They don't give a shit what no one else says. They don't care what the evidence says. They don't care what the lack of evidence says. That's Bryan's white car and they don't give a shit. Anyone who thinks it's not is crazy. But when it comes to surveillance footage in black and white in literally every other case, oh, we just don't know for sure because of the type of camera that this is. Why is it so hypocritical? Why isn't the way that you're looking at the camera footage consistent across the board whenever you're talking about these cases. Just because you have a bias doesn't mean that you should be biased when it comes to the facts. If you can say that, that might not be that color because this is a weird filter on this camera. It's black and white. It's night vision. We don't really know. Why can't you be that honest over here? Why can't you be that honest over here? That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Because reasons. I mean, reasons, yeah. What reasons? Because reasons, pretty much. I find it crazy. I find it crazy. You know what's bad? When one of the biggest paid guilters that was literally having information funneled to him from the Goncalveses is even out here saying, yeah, it's not his car, so what? Yeah, it's not his car. Doesn't matter. What? What do you mean it doesn't matter? Dumb. Dumb. Yeah, it's still on his channel. It's still on his channel. He was driving by and there was like 40 freaking cop cars. They're lined up on both sides of the street and all the way, pretty much all the way around Sigma Chi. Like I can see it in my head. They had that place surrounded. And if you were just going in there to just like talk to them, you don't need 30 cop cars surrounding the building. I did find that strange. It's still there. It's still there. Hey, Jess. Yeah, no, we're getting off right now. We just finished up. We just finished up. Yeah, it's definitely there. Yeah, I went over it. I just haven't FOIA'd it. I also am not really wanting to pay another $75 for like a one singular freaking image of something. But we'll see what they do. We'll see what they do. Oh, there is something. Okay, so I mentioned this at the top of the live. Is that how you say it? Top, live, beginning, whatever. About something that Amber had put out. So I'm going to show y'all her TikTok real quick because I've said, I haven't been able to go through every single document yet. That's still something that we're doing. We are still at this point going through forensic information and everything else. I want y'all to listen to this. The way that she is seeing, and again, I'm going to go in and I'm going to look at these documents myself. Not that I doubt her. Y'all just know that I like to double check stuff. I always will double check stuff. But this is crazy what she is finding in the documents when it comes to lab item number 1. Lab item number 1. And she put this out today. I don't know if it's out on YouTube already or if there's maybe a longer version on YouTube. I don't know. But we're going to watch this together real quick. It's only like a couple minutes. But this is crazy to me. And I want you to please keep in mind while you're listening to this that the knife sheath swab that they apparently found Bryan Kohberger's DNA on, not only was it a resubmission that literally has no paper trail except for the fact that the forensic documents from ISP has resubmission marked off. It's the only item out of all of the items that has resubmission marked off. But also keep in mind that they told us this entire time that it came from the snap, and there's documentation from court records and all kinds of things leading up to the most recent stuff, calling it the snap. But when we got the forensic records, it's nothing at all about the snap and all about the strap on top of the resubmission. So keep that in mind as you're listening to what she has found about lab item number 1.
I don't like that. But here's something I like even less. Back in lab number 13, it says, just going over this one more time, the DNA profiles obtained from item 38 and 39 match that previously obtained from the known reference samples of blank. This DNA profile is at least 80.4 nonillion times more likely to be seen if John Showalter is the source than if an unrelated individual randomly selected from the general population is the source. So now let's flip back to that front page and see what Showalter's item number was that they compared it to. Should be listed on the evidence description list. But oh look, he was not. So then I went back to the state's exhibit list, like I always do when I'm trying to cross-reference the item numbers, right? And I found Jack Showalter. Here he is. Exhibit number S482. MPD item 257. DNA swab. John Showalter. Lab item 1. You see it right there. John Showalter.
Here it
Lab
comes.
item 1.
Here it comes.
But how can that be? Because lab item 1 is the freaking knife sheath. Here it is on the state's exhibit list.
That's
Exhibit
literally still in the
number
court paperwork.
S417.
That's still on the
MPD
website right
item
now.
1122 King Road. K-bar knife sheath.
Lab item
Lab
1.
item 1. How is both the K-bar knife sheath and Jack Showalter's DNA labeled lab item 1? How are both of those things lab item 1? I don't like that.
I don't like it either, girl. I don't like it either, girl. Because of all the bullshit with the damn DNA. How? It is? Okay. Yeah, that's crazy to me. That's so freaking crazy to me. We've already had so many discrepancies, so much bullshit. So I'm going to go through the documents myself and look at it myself. I'm sure she's right. She's been right on everything else that she's come out about because she's factual and pays attention to things. That's just crazy to me. That is so freaking crazy to me. And you know what else is funny is whenever people want to argue with people like her or me or whoever in the comments and they don't know basic things. Like somebody in her comments was saying, that's not Jack Showalter. That's John Showalter. That's a whole different person. That's his brother or his dad, like some shit like that. And I'm thinking, so you're stupid. So you've only watched News Nation and you don't know really facts about anything. And you're just going to sit here and argue about stuff that you don't know anything about because you don't like the fact that somebody's bringing up something once again that shows that the case is full of shit. So you're just going to say something crazy because you have to argue. You have to argue. So you don't care if you're wrong. You're just going to say some dumb shit. No, Jack's name is, what is it? John Jack? Jack John? I thought it was weird that Jack was a nickname for John because they're both 4 letters, and I don't really care about politics to know that that's what one of our presidents used to be called. Sorry, not sorry. So I found it kind of strange, but we knew he had 2 names. We're 3.5 years down the line and you don't know Jack's name, then don't argue. Don't comment because you're just wrong and you're just like taking up space and energy for nothing. So just be quiet. Just be quiet. Just be quiet. Just like the that 1119 chick that I'm getting the information off of and like editing down for us to go into a live. The guy, the war Deadpool guy, do y'all realize that as of May or March 2025, whenever this live was happening, he didn't even know who the hell Jack Dukor was? Why are you having a 7-hour live on this case and you don't even know who the hell Jack Dukor is? In big old 2025. That bothers me. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. You shouldn't be talking about this case 3 years down the line if you have no idea who the frick Jack Dukor is. Like, that's wild. That's wild. I mean, yeah, but I've never known anybody who had it. And I wasn't alive when the president was alive. And I grew up in a home that didn't care about any of that stuff. So I didn't know any of that. But yeah, we touched that a long time ago. But yeah, that's crazy stuff. That is crazy stuff. Everyone thinks that when you bring facts that it's an attack. And I'm like, if that's what you think, then you must be real pleasure in real life. Like, it's called accountability. It's not very difficult. It's really not that difficult. It's just crazy stuff. My family has John's name, Jack. Yeah, it's apparently like real common. But the person in there was arguing and saying, that's not Jack, that's his dad or like his brother. Like she was basically, the person was trying to say that Amber was wrong and that this wasn't actually Jack Showalter's DNA. It was a family member's of his DNA. Like, why are you just coming up with the most outrageous shit to put in the comments? What? People be crazy. People be crazy. Jake for Jacob. Yeah. Bill for William. Yeah. Thompson is really William. I said about Jack Dukor that the guy who did a 7-hour live in March of 2025, where the girl from 1119 comes on and gives some information, when Jack Dukor is brought up, he says, I don't even know who that is. Why are you having a 7-hour live about this case if you don't even know the name of one of the most major players? How do you not know who Jack Dukor is in the middle of 2025? Like, that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. But maybe it's just because I've been following this case since the beginning that I find that crazy. That could just be me. That could just be me. Bill is a clown. Can't stand him. Sarah who? Put Sarah's YouTube channel in the chat. Sarah who? Because that was Amber's TikTok account that I showed you guys. I don't know whose account you want me to show, JLL. I have no idea. I'm pretty sure Amber's YouTube channel is just Amber Vance on here too. Right, like he's literally like the main player from the news and everything. Like they put him and Kaylee's faces together in everything. And you know, there's accounts today, and I don't know if I'm like way off, like making comments like this on these accounts or not, but it's how I feel about it based off of facts. I don't like when people constantly are still putting pictures together of Jack Dukor and Kaylee. And it's like this long lost love that's just so lost. And oh my gosh, blah, 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 whatever. They were broken up. She was seeing other people. She was leaving. She was going on and living on, like moving on with her life. To me, it's disrespectful that these TikTok accounts specifically keep putting pictures of them together and writing like these love song type TikTok account like posts about them. They were not together. She was moving on. She was doing her own thing. It's just as bad as people still trying to keep JP Miller and Micah together in a situation and everything that happened there. I find it disrespectful as shit that they keep putting them together in all these damn posts. They were not together. They were not together. She was moving on. She was doing her own thing. He was doing whatever he was going to do. Why do you keep doing that? Just because we know who Jack is and we know that he was heartbroken from losing her, period, because he was such a big part of her life. Why are we still shipping their relationship whenever that was over? That had been over for months before this took place. So I don't know if they're doing it to try to like make Jack feel better, but it's disrespectful in my opinion to keep putting Kaylee with the man that she wasn't with anymore. Whenever you could just show her herself in her photos or with her friends. Why you got to keep shipping her with this guy? I find that stupid. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. They had him actually as her boyfriend in the obit. See, that's disrespectful as shit to me. But then we also know that, look, before anything else, I already did not like Christy. Her very first interview, she came out and called Kaylee a brat about how she wasn't with Jack right now, like before she died. Ma'am? I'm sorry? Like, that's crazy. Right? They always try to tie you to a man. Xana and Ethan is the only one. And what's crazy is that this TikTok account, y'all have probably seen it if you're on TikTok. It's got like the initials of all their names. It's like MKXE or something like that. They are constantly talking about Jack and Kaylee. But then recently, I guess we were starting to get called out a lot more because I've been leaving a lot of comments on those accounts about how disrespectful this shit is. Straight up. I don't care. Recently, she's like, well, I'm assuming it's a female that runs the account. I realize that I'm not giving enough attention to Ethan and Xana. You think? I've been saying that from the beginning. Everyone is so focusing on Kaylee and Jack who weren't even together, but no one really wants to pay attention to the fact that Xana and Ethan were a happy couple that were not broken up, that were living their lives, and all of their future was ripped away from them. Can we focus on that one? That love story? Not the one that's no longer a love story. Can we focus on the real love story? I've been saying that from the beginning. I just find it ridiculous. I just find it ridiculous. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Thank you for the gifted membership, Unicorn. Thank you for the $4.99, Katie. I appreciate that. And thank you for the 5 gifted memberships, Chucky. Congratulations to those who ended up getting those. Yeah, I just wish they paid more attention. Like Maddie and Jack too. Like Maddie and Jack, is it Jake? No, Jake. Maddie and Jake, like they were good. They had a schedule. They talk every single day. She was just flown out to Boise by him so she could spend time with him for Parents Weekend. What about that? What about Jake? And how bad he must feel. I mean, damn. I mean, I get it. Jack is probably heartbroken, but they were not together anymore. And I just don't understand why people keep putting their pictures out there like that. Yeah, it's like a lymphatic thing. It kind of like just helps move stuff around, I guess, a little bit. I have like a I have a root canal that went bad that messed up the tooth in front of it, or I guess it's a crown that messed up the tooth in front of it, and then also started messing up the tooth in front of that one. And so like where my root grows up into my gum, I have this like pea-sized bump thing growing. And sometimes like my lip kind of goes numb right here. And I have a dentist appointment like in 2 weeks or something like that for like an exam. But I read it was like a gland thing. Like whenever you have like this, a tooth with problems, like it'll cause like a gland thing in here. So this actually like helps like the numbness like go away. Like it doesn't hurt or anything, the little thing. But I noticed that like just like doing this sort of helps like the numbness and stuff stop. And then I also have this one. Like my face is probably going to get like super red. I feel like this one, the jade one from Dollar Tree, because I'm a Dollar Tree girly, works a lot better. This one is just sort of like relaxing, I guess, a little bit. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, sinuses too. Okay. I guess I'm going to get off of here now. I don't know what time I'm going to go live tomorrow to go over the first guy's interview, but it'll be during the day because I'll be on Dagos in the evening, and I'll have that linked up too, so you guys can grab that as well. And then on Sunday, we'll go live twice to go over 2 more interviews. I don't know when we're going to go over to the 1119 girls interview because it's just 3 hours of a lot. And I just don't want to go over things that aren't important. I want to only focus on the fact that she says she was at Sigma Chi. I want to hear what she says about the neighborhood. I want to hear what she says about like certain specific things happening, not just every little video thing about her brother and a daddy and a grandpa going to that college and all this other bullshit. I don't care about none of that. So I'm doing what I normally do and taking out a bunch of the gobbledygook before we go over it. It'll probably not to be till like Monday or Tuesday because it's long. God dang, it's long. It is so long. But that's it. But that is it. So I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. Y'all have a good rest of your Good Friday. I hope y'all had a good day for those of you that are celebrating. Y'all have a safe weekend if you don't see me. But hopefully you do. Hopefully you do. Again, thank you for the gifted memberships and the super stickers and the super chats for those of you that have been here for a while, for some of you that have recently joined, and just being here. Thank you for coming in here and listening to this with me. And if anybody wants to, I mean, I don't know if Lana's already found it, but I know that she did the interview and she mentioned that she couldn't find the report either. If somebody wants to let her know that it is report number 124, like Haley's mom found, somebody can do that. We don't speak, so whatever, but somebody can let her know that, hey, there is a report. Because I know that she said something about wanting to FOIA stuff, so maybe if she had the report number, she could do some more specific FOIAs. Because I sure couldn't find that damn report, and I went everywhere. I looked all over the place, multiple days. Multiple days. You must train your cats to do that for you. I can't usually do it without Zelda wanting to be in my face with it anyway. I've like used it on her head to like brush her. So now she kind of is obsessed with it. Oh, thank you for being here for so long. Ames Ams. I'm trying to say her name right. All right, you guys. It's ISP number 124. Number 124. Oh, let me ask you guys a question real quick. Anybody ever have an issue trying to get your cats to not sleep in the automatic litter box? Like, it's not even like a joke. Like, I'm serious. because we just got it and we just put it together, and it's like stays so clean that Linky Binky, my little baby orange one, keeps getting in it to sleep in it. And I've had to go in there and take him out of there like 4 times. No, mine is. He's just going in there because it stays so clean. It doesn't have a smell. So he's just constantly like, I've literally pulled him out of there probably 3 times. And he's just cuddled up in a ball sleeping on the litter. I'm like, is this going to be a problem? Are you going to just constantly sleep in the litter box now? And y'all know I bought them that big ginormous thing. I don't think y'all can see it with the light off. But I bought them that big ginormous tower for Christmas. And y'all know that they don't even sleep on that damn thing no more. I try to pick them up and put them on it, and they don't. They just take off. Damn. Cats are crazy. I found a really good deal for $1.99 on Amazon and had really, really good reviews, like 4.5 reviews. It was so easy to put together. I mean, I don't know. I find him and take him out. I've had to take him out like 3 times. He might be in there right now. I don't know. Don's supposed to be keeping like track of him and making sure that he's not sleeping in there. It took forever for them to get in there. Calypso still like won't have anything to do with it, but she will eventually. Yeah. Okay. Well, good to know that he's just, his typical little orange weird self. That's good to know. I'll take a video of it the next time I see him in there, and I'll post it on my second channel. He's crazy. He's so crazy. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for showing up in here. I will see you guys at some point tomorrow. Let me go ahead and roll this one out real fast.
Please do not forget to leave a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already.
All right, you guys. See y'all.